Welcome to the No Limits Podcast, where limits do not exist, where you can create cash flow, equity, and real freedom with the power of real estate.
3, 4. Now, we will begin.
Welcome to the dojo. This is Todd Toback, and in today's show, I'm going to talk about how to get that quantum leap, how to stay motivated and get to that spot where your business is humming and in a spot where you never thought possible. Now, if this is your first time listening to the show and you love what you hear today, or if you've been listening for a while and you have not shared this episode, can you do me a huge favor? And that is copy and paste the link to the show and text it to 3 or 4 people who you know need to hear this, right? This will grow the show. And as the show grows, I'm going to add some other outstanding real estate investors who are going to make you more money and expand your freedom. So I'm really excited about today's topic because not a lot of people talk about it. Not a lot of people talk about how to really get massive success in business, right? It's not some tool or it's not some hack or it's not some new strategy. The key to growing something really special is to take many little steps over time, consistently, day after day after day after day after day. The secret is there is no quantum leap. So you say, Todd, how do I stay motivated, right? How do I stay motivated taking these tiny little steps over time? Well, in this episode, I'm going to share a technique that has completely changed my mindset. And I know that if you implement it, okay, it's going to change your outlook. It's going to change your income. It's going to change your energy. And it's also going to change your love for business over time. And so this technique, I actually learned from one of my mentors, Dan Sullivan. So let me know if this sounds familiar, right? One day you're excited, you're motivated, you're on top of the world, you feel like you're going to crush it. And then the next day, maybe you go on social media and you see what other people are doing or see a picture or a situation or a check or someone's income. And you just feel like, oh, right? You just lost the air, the motivation, right? The frustration comes out. And then one day you're up, oh, I'm going to take over the world. And the next day you just feel demotivated. Well, I can tell you that you're probably living in the goal and not the progress, or what one of my mentor, Dan Sullivan, says, you're living in the gap, not the gain. So let me talk about what living in the progress and not the goal means. When we're in business, right, we all want to live this vision where, I don't know, you're free and you have arrived at this amazing spot where life is amazing and you have all the time in the world and you're making all the money in the world and you could do what you want to do, when you want to do it, and who you want to do it with. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? But the challenge with being an entrepreneur is that the ball is always moving. The bar is always going higher, right? So for me, I remember when I was out of college and I wanted to get a job with a pharmaceutical company, right? And I was dying for this $40,000 or $50,000 base salary and the company car and the bonus. And if I could get this, man, I would be so happy, right? And so I went there, I scratched and I clawed and I was hungry and I saw this goal and, I was making a little bit of progress every day. And then I got the job, right? I got the job. And then all of a sudden I was like, okay, well, I'm not making enough money, right? So then I started selling more and working harder and trying to get a promotion. And I was unhappy, but I'd gotten raises during that time. And then I was like, all right, I want to make more money. And then I got a job with a medical device company and I was making a couple $100,000 a year. And then I was, had to do my first real estate deal and I'd made $80,000. And I was like, I got to do another deal, got another deal. And I had this anxiousness. And I could tell you that during my first 2 years as a real estate investor, I went back and forth from being extremely motivated to being a full-time real estate investor to all of a sudden beating myself up every day because I hadn't quit my job yet, right? And I forgot to live in the progress and not the goal. So what exactly does this mean? Well, I am now in a constant, thanks to one of my mentors, Dan Sullivan, I am constantly measuring how far I have come, not how far I have to go. Now, it is really important to create a tension, like a rubber band, from where you want to go to where you want to be, right? So if you want to be making 100 grand a year or $1 million a year or 10 million a year, or you want to be have 50 million in equity, right? It's really important to set those goals and set them out. Okay, put them in front of you, and you want to feel a tension from where you are to where you want to be. You should be naturally magnetized to that, drawn to that every single day. And you want to read out your goals and your affirmations every single day, and you want that. But if you're always doing that, you're always going to feel less than, because you're always going to be changing that goal, right? We are entrepreneurs. We're a crazy bunch, right? And it's never going to be enough. So you have to learn how to be satisfied in the progress so that you keep moving forward. So I talked about, me and the job at the pharmaceutical company and doing my first deal, right? And I forgot to look at my progress, right? I forgot that I was on the beach as a lifeguard making $12 an hour, right? Which was a lot of fun, by the way, but I was only making 12 an hour. I then forgot that I got in my car and I had $300 in my pocket, and I made it out to California with pretty much no contacts and no money, right? And got a job selling alarms door to door for some short-term income, right? I also forgot that I went and I got a job at the largest pharmaceutical company in the world while I had a C average in college. I also forgot that I won this local award, ABC, right? My first year, I was rookie of the year, right? I also forgot that I did my first real estate deal, right, with my brother-in-law and made $80,000. We split that $40,000. And before that, and when I was on the beach, right, as a lifeguard, if I would have made 40 grand, that was 10 times my yearly salary, right? So you have to move from a spot from feeling frustrated and tired of where you are not to constantly looking back to how far you have come. So here are some exercises that I use that I know will help you. Okay, number one, get off social media. Okay, if social media makes you unhappy, which most people it does, if social media makes you feel less than, get off of it. Now, you will see me post stuff on social media. Usually it's someone else posting on my behalf, all right? But if you're on there and you are at a spot where you are constantly feeling drained and tired, move off of there right now. I don't let any of my kids on social media, by the way. I have teenagers and preteens, and they actually do not touch social media. I don't want them looking at that, always feeling less than. It could definitely stunt their progress. By the way, we have got them special phones, and they're from Gab Wireless. If you have preteens or young kids or teenagers, I highly recommend these things. Gab Wireless, they have they can call, they could text, they could send messages and photos, they could listen to MP3s, but there's no internet or social media. And I can tell you, my kids love them. And so check them out. If you go to Gab Wireless and use coupon code No Limits, go to Gab Wireless, use coupon code No Limits, you'll get $25 off their phone, and we love them. So I recommend getting off social media, and that's like the easiest thing that you could possibly do. The second thing that I'm going to recommend to you, every Monday morning, we go back and we say, give me some good news with our team, right? What's happened? What is the deal that we worked on? What is the deal that we closed? What's an objection that we overcome? What's a new progress or a procedure that we change in the company? Where did we win both professionally and personally, right? And you mark that win and you say it out loud. And then you hear other people around you also say that. And then every quarter you look back and say, okay, where did we win? How much money did we make? What kind of deals did we do? What kind of new contacts did we make? What's one thing that we made easier, right? Then every year, look back and see how much you have accomplished. Now, you may say, Todd, how is this going to get me to where I'm trying to go? Well, the issue is that most growth happens because of a long series of small steps. Now, there are some moves that you make that seem like they are larger than others. Like I did this one thing and it changed X, Y, Z, right? Or I did this and, my income shot up dramatically. Well, I can tell you that those things usually don't happen unless you are consistently taking small steps every single day towards your goals. Those quote unquote quantum leaps happened because of the small steps that you're taking every single day. And the way that you get motivated by taking small steps is by constant living in the progress and not the goal. Here's another tool in a way that you could live in the progress. Most real estate investors, they don't have any idea how much money they're making or how much money they're losing or how much money that they are spending. Okay. And they are basically doing something called managing by their bank account. Do they have more money in the bank account this month than they did last month? And so, one of the things that I recommend, if you have not, now I don't care what stage of business that you're in, hire a bookkeeper, right? You have no business being in QuickBooks or managing your finances via an Excel spreadsheet if you are not currently doing it, right? So go to upwork.com. You can find a contractor on there with great reviews who could do your books for you. And you should know how much money you are making every single month. And you want a profit and loss in front of you. It's called a P&L. And a P&L is basically a statement that says, this is how your business is doing. This is how much money you make. This is how much money you spend. And this little number at the bottom here, this is the profit. And so once you have this in front of you, by the way, if you are not watching this, one of two things is going to happen. Either you are going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm making way less than I thought. Or you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm doing better than I thought. But one of two things, either way, you're going to be motivated, because if you're making less than you thought, well, now that tension that I talked about is created, right? That tension from where you are to where you want to be. The truth is out in front of you. And now you're going to start taking those small steps every single day, right? That are going to get you to where you want to go. And if your income is a little bit better than you thought, well, now you can say, how do I take these little steps every day to get to that new goal? So there's a great book on that you've got to check out. It's called The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. The Slight Edge with Jeff Olson. I talk a lot about this concept with my private clients and those in my small groups. Go check out nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com/private if you want to know more about that. Now, if you have not shared this episode, please, again, copy and paste the link and share it with 3 or 4 people that you know need to hear it. But if you want to motivate yourself, live in the progress, not the goal. Goals are great, but it's the small steps every single day that's going to get you to where you want to go. Have a great day.